Hello, hello, hello. Okay, I hope this is working. This sound. See, there's a couple people there. Can you let me know if the sound is working? I I don't want to have the same problem as yesterday when I gave the whole story and there wasn't a single stitch that was recorded. So if you're here, just let me know that you can hear me. I'm not sure where you are going to write that in, but can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? It seems to be picking up on my end. So would be mute and that would be working. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start. Um, if you can't hear me, let me know as soon as possible. Or if you can hear me, let me know as soon as possible. So we have an exciting story today. Um, I don't. Yes, yes, yes. Good. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, David. You are there. Thank you. I finally saw the notes. All right. Yay. So this is this is season 3, story 11, the second to last one of the year. Very excited about this. Um and I've been talking a little bit about this in various posts that I've been putting up about being objectified, something that people don't normally often like to have happen, women in particular, because women are so objectified and there's a lot of resistance to be objectified, objectified in media. And, even just walking on the streets, women get objectified. I live in Brazil, super objectification here around the women's butts. It's all about the woman's butts. Um, So it's not usually tolerated or enjoyed that much in a in a societal manner for women. Women are fighting against it. But when you take it into a different realm, into this sexual, it can be really, really exciting when you really get conscious about it and just decide, yeah, I'm just going to let them do whatever they want with me. Then it becomes an exciting game that you can play. So this was an evening. I was actually out with my girlfriends that evening. A bunch of us went out for dinner, and we went for an early dinner. So because some of them had work the next day, and we just wanted to be together, so we went out for a really good dinner together early and caught up and all of this kind of thing. And I just thought I was going to head home after the dinner and go to bed. But just before I was leaving, I contacted my husband and said, "Hey, I'm done, and I'm heading. I'm going to head home soon. Probably catch an Uber or something." And he says, "Hold it, wait, wait, wait. I'm going to come and get you. I have a surprise for you." I'm like, "Oh, a surprise! How nice! How well, I love surprises, and many people do. I mean, some people don't, but most people like surprises. Women in particular love surprises." And he was good at giving me surprises. Now he was also always coming up with scenarios that we could play out. He was a writer, and he liked to create wild scenarios and then find a way to play them out. And this time I had no idea what was going on. It's like, okay, he's gonna pick me up. That's nice. That's really nice of him. And a surprise. I don't know what the surprise is, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. I'm just happy to be picked up and see what happens. So he comes and gets me, and we're going for a little drive. And next thing I know is that we pull into this hotel. Like, oh, a hotel? What's going on? And he turns to me and says, "Don't worry about it. I'm taking care of everything. You don't need to say you don't I will take care of everything. You do not need to say anything the entire evening." Oh, okay. Okay. Okay, I was quite tired. I like to surrender, I like to not be responsible for anything at times because I have a busy life. I had kids, I had work, I had so many things to take care of all the time. If someone said to me, "Hey, I'll take care of everything," um, then I'm very happy to let that be done and just surrender to the evening completely. So he said, just go sit over there in the waiting area of the lobby and I'll be right back. And I could see he goes over to the front desk, gets onto a telephone, is talking on the phone. Like, what is going on? Now I'm kind of a little bit nervous, but also titillated, titillated to know what is happening here. And he came back and said, "Okay, just a few minutes, and we'll be going upstairs to one of the rooms." I'm like, "Oh, all right, okay, let's go. What's happening there?" And I just kind of followed his lead, as in, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to ask anything. And I thought, I'm just going to completely let go and completely trust him. And this is one area that is very difficult for most people is to completely trust their partner. Um, you know, in a relationship over time, um, there's trust, yes, but there's also, a lot of questioning, and then there gets to be resistance and frustration, and like to really surrender, let go, and completely trust your partner is generally quite a difficult thing to do, but it's very empowering when you can do it. So I completely and totally trusted him that he would completely and totally be able to take care of me as best as possible. So off we go. He said, "Okay, it's time. Let's go up in the elevator. We're going to go to one of the rooms now." And so up we go to the elevator, up to the top floor, and we go over to one of the rooms, knock on the door. This man opens the door. Never seen him before in my life. Complete and total stranger. It's like, okay, who is this? I don't say anything though. I just look at my husband like, okay. And he said and I realized he had never met him before either. And he said, "Hello, I brought Leanna." Actually, he called me Gabrielle. We had these kind of play names. I was Gabrielle, he was Marco. And so he said, "I brought Gabrielle and we're here. Um, Nice to meet you." And the man's like, "Come on in." So we come in. He said, "No," and then they both sit down and they start talking about me. He says, Just sit on the bed." I'm like, "Okay." And they start talking about me. And just briefly, my husband said, "Oh, she's really a real hottie. She's my hot little wife, and I think you're gonna really enjoy her." And he's saying, "Oh, this is very nice. Thank you for coming over." And I'm just kind of sitting there thinking, what are they planning to do with me exactly? But I went into the full surrender objectification, and they're going to do whatever they're going to do. I have to trust this is going to be a safe scenario. So then my husband says, "Okay, I want you to take off your underwear, sit back on the bed." It's like, okay. So I take my underwear off, sit back on the bed, and lift up your skirt, open your legs. Oh my God. Now I was getting a little bit nervous, but I was also very excited. Now, this is the thing that if I had known what he was going to do, I probably would not have even gone up there. But now that I'm in the scenario and I'm the object of desire and objectification, I'm excited. And so he says, "Open your legs." And the guy is sitting literally right in front of me, and it's a pussy viewing basically. And so I'm just sitting there. I'm a little bit nervous, a little bit uncomfortable, but I'm like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And he said, "Enjoy, enjoy my beautiful wife." And the man is like, "Wow, super gorgeous, and they're still talking about me as I'm lying there with my legs open. Then my husband comes over and he spreads my legs even more, and he said, "Okay, well, do you want to taste her?" And the man's like, "Oh yeah." So now the man is crawling up towards between my legs. He starts kissing my thighs, and then he eventually goes and starts kissing my pussy, and he's licking me and kissing me, and my husband's opening my legs and holding my legs open. And I was kind of nervous and excited at the same time, but now I started to really relax because now I was kind of being held by these two men and being ravished by them. And I just sort of let go and started to allow the feelings to move through my body. And it was really exciting and titillating. And um, I was getting very, very turned on by the scenario. And my husband could feel it, and the man could feel it. And I started making noises and moving my body because now my body was getting completely stimulated all over. Um, I was still wearing my shirt. My skirt was up to my waist at this point. And then my husband pulls up my top. So now my breasts are exposed. So I've got like clothes on, but body parts exposed. And he's like touching my breasts and holding my legs. And the guy is down on me. They are both dressed at this point. And then my husband says, okay, the guy sort of goes back, and my husband's like, okay, I want her for a minute. He turns me around, takes out his cock, and he starts penetrating me. And so now he is fucking me in front of this guy who is just watching us. And my husband is basically using me, really taking me. He knows that I am open and ready. And the guy is just watching. And then after a little bit of time of this interaction, which I am completely, we're completely in connection. When we make love, we were very in tune, very in touch, and very connected. And I know there's somebody watching, and that in itself is quite exciting. And then my husband ends, and he says, "Okay, your turn. Are you ready to fuck her?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm ready." Puts on a condom, and then he starts to penetrate me, and my husband's watching the man penetrating me. And, you know, he loves the cuckolding scenario. He gets very, very turned on by it. And even though he was watching, he was still touching me and touching my back, touching my shoulder. He was still connected to me. So, but he wasn't participating in that way. He was just watching and letting the guy do what he needed to do, um, which was very fast, actually. This man could not last more than 5 minutes, and then he was done. I think he was just so excited by the whole scenario. It's not just us that are super excited, it's also usually the other people. Everyone's excited. These are scenarios that you don't normally do. It was something that we had never done before, because we had always up to this point met somebody first for a no play meeting or a drink for a coffee before, and that was usually the base of what we would do before we got together for playing with somebody, because we wanted to know who they were. We wanted to have like a connection with them. We wanted to find out if we had any kind of if there's any kind of you know interest there, any kind of turn on between the three of us. But this was completely different, and even though we had not met prior, never met him before, my husband and him had just exchanged some texts and had a phone call. I talked on the phone, actually. Um, we went for it. Somehow he felt like this was going to be a safe environment for us. And I think it was also because we had a lot of experience that we were just so confident in ourselves in allowing ourselves to do something like this. So, um, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's so risque, let's say, and taboo. but very, very exciting and very fun. So the other man was finished quite quickly, and he ejaculated in his condom, finished, done, sits back. Wow, that was awesome. She's so hot. She's so awesome. This is just awesome. Thanks for coming by. Really had a great time. And my husband like, yeah, no problem. Like, you know, something we love doing. And then he said, okay, get dressed, sweetie. So now I'm getting dressed. I'm like, okay. Still, I haven't said anything. Just breathing, feeling all the energy in the room, feeling like, wow, this was a very unusual event, but super hot, super hot. And and then we said goodbye and we left, and that was it. Never saw this guy again. I never even knew what his name was. I barely remember what the guy looked like, to tell you the truth. I was quite nervous about the whole scenario because I didn't know what was going to happen, but I was really excited at the same time. And I realized, I realized very early on that I am the kind of person who likes to play out other people's desires. I have my own desires, yes, but I love when somebody has a desire and or a fantasy that they want to play out because I was just always game. I'm game to play it out, to try it out. Let's see how it works out. So my husband at the time was always coming up with new scenarios, and I was always very much on board to try anything he had to do. So this was kind of a new type of play scenario that we did that we had never, like I said, we never done this before, but um, this is something that we would not have ever done in the beginning of our exploration because it would have been way too scary for me and for him, and I probably would have not done it. I probably would not have even gone, and I would have said no. However, even in this kind of a scenario, when I have like completely surrendered, I have said that I am totally on board. I was always given the ability to have carte blanche in the sense that I could say no at any time if I was feeling overwhelmed or super uncomfortable and or just absolutely did not want to have anything to do with the scenario. I could say no, stop. I don't want to do this. So I knew that. I knew that I held onto that power. Um, and having that power enabled me to then make the choice. And I remember I'm lying there making the choice. Do I want to stay here? Yeah, yeah. I want to see what happens. How am I feeling? I'm feeling fine. How is my, good. I'm okay. I still can always make that choice of saying, no, I don't want to do this. And everybody would just stop and it would end, and that would be that. It had happened once in only once in our entire exploration time together. I did one time say no, and it happened. Someone else said no to us at one time, which was a shocker, but it can happen that way too, where the other party just feels like it's not working for them. Doesn't matter why, it doesn't matter what's really going on for them. It just, if somebody says, no, I'm not into this, then you have to respect that 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 person's not into it and they're not going to participate and that the whole event ends. But this particular time, I stayed full on and was into it and I was excited. It was fun. And I really enjoyed the objectification. I really did. It was so, so liberating to not, to almost to be almost like a non entity, but also the center of attention. And I have other stories that we played out like this that I will tell about in other story time telling. But this was one of the first ones that we had in this kind of manner. So, yeah, that is the end of that story. If you have any questions, who is here? Dave, are you still here? Um, or if later you want to make any comments, or if you want to make any shares. Have you ever been in a scenario like this before for yourself? And if you were, how was it? How did it go? Um, I'm very, very happy that the sound is working today and that I was able to I was able to make this recording. And thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting my Patreon account. Um, I have so many stories of exploration that I still have to divulge. Um, and I'm really excited. I'm excited to be able to do it in front of an audience because there's so much negativism around sexuality and exploration. And I really believe that, I am here to try to break those taboos, to help people heal from traumas that they've gone through in their lives, from fears that they hold on to about their bodies and about expressing themselves, about consensually playing out fantasies. So that's why I'm doing these stories. That's why I have this community here to talk about these. I know everybody's here for different reasons. And I hope that this opens your world, or you get excited and turned on by some of these stories, or it helps you move forward in exploring in your own relationship. Because as long as you're consensual, as long as you are working together as a team and you have some safe words in place, maybe safe words. I always had the final say if I didn't want it to continue. Although, my husband could have also said no if it wasn't working for him. Um, know that you have the power to say no if it doesn't work for you, and that's empowering in itself. So that it enabled me to go much farther than I would have been able to go otherwise. If I'd felt like I was, um, if I was helpless and being forced, then it would have been impossible, of course. But I felt empowered, and I felt like um, stronger, and I felt more excited, and yeah, enabled the two of us to have some really, really exciting dynamic fantasies played out. And every time we had a fantasy like this played out, it would last into our sex life for weeks after, just thinking about it, um, being there over and over again. Sometimes I was never 100% there because it would be just so, so exciting and so different and so scary sometimes and scary connected with desires and excitement, um, that I would just ride on it for weeks. The two of us would ride on it for weeks. And that's even more fun. That journey is even more fun. So thanks for coming, and I will see you again next month. Okay. Much love making.